If you don't know how to satisfy a woman in bed, she will lose interest fast. But here's the secret. Giving her mind-blowing, toe-curling orgasms is way easier than you think. In this video, I'm breaking down the 3 simplest techniques to make her scream with pleasure every time. Pay close attention. The key to giving a woman an unforgettable orgasm every time lies in understanding how her body responds to stimulation and mastering the techniques that amplify pleasure. The first and most essential principle is clitoral stimulation. The clitoris is the most sensitive pleasure center on the female body, containing over 8,000 nerve endings. It is crucial to understand that direct, unprepared stimulation can often be overwhelming or even uncomfortable. Instead of immediately going for direct contact, begin by teasing the surrounding areas, inner thighs, lower abdomen, and the region around the clitoris. This builds anticipation, step which significantly enhances pleasure. Light touches, warm breath, and slow movements create an erotic buildup that makes direct stimulation far more intense and enjoyable when it finally happens. Once she is aroused, introduce pressure gradually. Using your fingers, tongue, or a combination of both, apply gentle circular motions around the clitoris rather than directly on top of it. Varying movements is key. Side to side, up and down, and soft pulsations can heighten sensitivity. Instead of relying on a single technique, observe how her body responds and make subtle adjustments based on her reactions. If she gasps, moans, or moves her hips toward you, you're on the right track. If she tenses up or pulls away, ease off slightly and adjust accordingly. Communication is vital. Whispering, "Do you like this?" or "Tell me how it feels," not only reassures her, but also deepens the intimacy and arousal between both partners. Once she's fully warmed up and responding positively, consistency becomes the key factor in pushing her toward orgasm. Changing techniques too frequently or breaking rhythm can interrupt the buildup of pleasure, making it harder for her to climax. Instead, once you find a movement and pressure level that works, maintain it steadily while allowing her body to take over. A slight increase in speed or intensity as she gets closer can push her over the edge, but sudden or erratic changes can delay or even prevent orgasm. Understanding her breathing patterns is another way to gauge her progress. As she nears climax, her breathing will become deeper and more erratic. Matching your movements to her breath cycle can amplify her pleasure and bring her to a powerful release. Moving beyond clitoral stimulation, internal pleasure points like the G-spot offer another dimension of orgasmic intensity. The G-spot is located about 1 to 2 inches inside the vaginal wall, along the upper side. When a woman is aroused, this area swells slightly, making it easier to find. The best way to stimulate it is using a come-hither motion with 2 fingers, gently massaging the area in rhythmic pulses. Like with clitoral stimulation, pressure and speed should be gradually increased based on her responses. The G-spot responds well to firm, consistent pressure, so using the pads of your fingers rather than just the tips can create a more pleasurable sensation. For even greater intensity, combining clitoral stimulation with G-spot stimulation creates what is known as a blended orgasm, which many women describe as one of the most powerful experiences they can have. To achieve this, synchronize your movements so that as you apply external pressure, your internal strokes match the rhythm. Using your other hand, a vibrator, or your tongue on the clitoris while stimulating the G-spot enhances pleasure exponentially. However, it is important to be patient. Forcing intensity too quickly can feel overwhelming. Let the pleasure build naturally, following the cues her body gives you. Another critical factor in delivering unforgettable orgasms is understanding the power of teasing and anticipation. The female body thrives on suspense. The longer the buildup, the more explosive the release. Slowing things down rather than rushing toward orgasm makes the entire experience far more intense. Kiss her neck, trace your fingers along her spine, whisper what you're going to do to her before you do it. Making her mind part of the experience is just as important as physical stimulation. Women are deeply responsive to mental arousal, and by engaging her imagination, you heighten her physical reactions. A great way to introduce teasing is through edging, bringing her close to orgasm, then backing off just before she reaches it. This technique not only increases overall pleasure, but also makes the eventual orgasm far more powerful. To do this, maintain stimulation until she is right at the edge, then slow down or switch to a softer touch. Repeating this process multiple times before finally allowing her to climax results in longer, more intense orgasms. It also builds anticipation and makes her crave the next peak even more. Deep penetration can also contribute to heightened pleasure, especially when combined with the right angles and movements. Certain positions, such as missionary with legs raised, doggy style with a slight upward thrust, or spooning with deep, slow strokes, can stimulate both the G-spot and other internal pleasure points. The key here is not just depth, but movement. Thrusting in a way that creates friction against the most sensitive areas. Slow, controlled strokes, alternating with deep penetration, allow her to adjust and enjoy the sensation fully. If she responds positively to deeper strokes, adding subtle rocking motions rather than just in-and-out thrusts can make the experience even more pleasurable. Another overlooked yet highly effective technique is incorporating external pressure during penetration. Placing a hand on her lower abdomen and applying gentle pressure while thrusting can enhance the sensation inside. This works particularly well when stimulating the G-spot, as it helps press the vaginal wall against your movements, increasing intensity. Similarly, during oral or manual stimulation, pressing lightly on the pubic bone can heighten the overall experience. An often missed element in sexual pleasure is vocal and physical encouragement. A woman's arousal is deeply tied to how desired and sexy she feels. Complimenting her body, moaning in response to her movements, and letting her know how incredible she feels boosts her confidence and intensifies her arousal. Simple phrases like, "You feel so good," "I love the way your body moves," or even just a deep, satisfied moan can be incredibly powerful. The more confident she feels, the more relaxed and uninhibited she becomes, which directly affects her ability to climax. Many men underestimate the importance of pacing and endurance. Women often take longer to orgasm than men, which means stamina is essential. This doesn't mean only lasting longer physically, but also having the patience to let her pleasure build without rushing. If penetration is too intense or tiring, alternating between oral, manual, and penetrative stimulation keeps the experience exciting and sustainable. A great technique is shifting between different forms of pleasure: oral, followed by penetration, teasing followed by deep thrusting, to create waves of stimulation rather than a single buildup. Aftercare and emotional connection also play a significant role in sexual satisfaction. The moments after orgasm are just as important as the buildup. Holding her, running fingers through her hair, kissing her softly. These actions reinforce intimacy and make her feel deeply connected. A woman who feels emotionally and physically satisfied will naturally crave more experiences with you. Lastly, the greatest tool in maximizing a woman's pleasure is communication. Every woman is different, and no single technique works universally. Asking what she enjoys, encouraging her to express her desires, and adjusting based on her feedback make all the difference. Many women hesitate to verbalize what they want, but by creating a safe, non-judgmental space, she will open up over time. If she enjoys something, encourage her to tell you. If she reacts strongly to a particular touch, remember it and use it again. The secret to becoming an incredible lover isn't just mastering a set of techniques. It's about reading her body, responding to her needs, and making every experience uniquely satisfying. A woman who feels truly understood and pleasured will never forget you. By implementing these techniques, mastering clitoral and G-spot stimulation, teasing and anticipation, deep penetration with controlled movements, vocal encouragement, pacing, and communication, you create experiences that leave her breathless, fulfilled, and craving more every time.